there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and today is day 2 of the official Magic Origins spoilers coming out from Wizards of the Coast, and we have 9 new cards to look at. Some of these are pretty interesting. There's one in particular you're definitely going to want to see. And before we get started, there's a few other things I just wanted to look at and show you that were revealed. First off, this is the official game mat for Game Day for Magic Origins for the winner, and any participating WPN store that's holding the Game Day will have this to go out to the first place participant. Pretty cool art. Secondly, just wanted to look at some of the cards that have already been spoiled, but now we're either seeing them for the first time in their Magic Origins border or else their promo borders. So let's take a look at these. First is Relic Seeker. We saw a foreign language version of this card yesterday. This is an English version, but it's also the buy box promo, so the actual card may look a little different, but just want to let you see the art. We talked about this card yesterday, so I won't go into the details on these cards, but we do have a playlist set up if there's anything you want to go back and see from Magic Origins spoilers. Next card is Displacement Wave, and we already talked about this one. It was leaked a little over a week ago, but the leak was very grainy and kind of hard to see, so here's the actual art for the card. Just want to let you guys take a look at that. Next is Mizium Meddler. Here's another card that was leaked. When it was originally leaked, it was a foreign language card that we saw. This is actually the launch day promo card. So this will be your launch day version of it. This is an English version, of course, but this is not the regular Magic Origins version. That may look a little different. Very good card, though. I do like this one a lot. Next is Languish, and we talked extensively about Languish yesterday, basically your new damnation, but this goes to the top 8 participants in the game day at participating WPN stores. So this will go out to the top 8. And here's the card that will be your regular game day promo. Again, it's another card that has already been spoiled, but it's Conclave Naturalist, and here it is with the extended art promo. So, having said that, let's move on to our new stuff. And here's our first new card of the day, and it's Blessed Spirits. Costs 3 for a 2/2 flyer. Pretty good stats in limited. I'd pay 3 for a 2/2 flyer. And on top of that, it has kind of this Enchantment Matters theme. When you cast an enchantment, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So you're going to notice a couple things as we keep going through here. If you haven't already noticed it, there seems to be an Enchantment Matters mechanic, and it kind of centers around Theros flavor a little bit, but it goes into basically the whole set. It seems like it's touching all 5 colors. This has kind of that Theros feel of Enchantments Matters, but obviously the flavor of this card is more Innistrad, so I find that really cool from a flavor aspect and from a design aspect. So this is a neat card, definitely limited. It's going to be a good limited card anyway, but if you have some enchantments, it could be even better. And we haven't really seen a lot of auras yet. Cards like this could make auras better, but I don't know if they're going to really focus on auras as much as they're focusing on global enchantments. Next is Starfield of Nyx. Big flavor win here for Theros fans, and it's definitely a huge Enchantment Matters card. It's at the Mythic Rare slot, and it's interesting. If you have an enchantment in your graveyard at your upkeep, you can target it and put it back into the battlefield for free. That's pretty cool. And if you have 5 or more enchantments in play, almost kind of like the Theros Gods, basically at that point, all your enchantments become creatures with power and toughness equal to their converted mana cost. So casual players could have a lot of fun with a card like this. I could see this being a good kitchen table, kind of fun little card to try to build around. There's probably a commander deck out there, maybe using the gods from Theros, that could do some interesting stuff with something like this. Definitely, I think if it has any home, it's Commander. It's going to be very hard to make work in Limited, probably impossible to make work in Limited. And as far as Standard goes, obviously a little too expensive and very, very conditional for Standard. I don't really see a deck coming out that's going to take advantage of this, that's going to be competitive. But I think this is an awesome Commander card. I think it's a really fun flavor card. Next is Days Undoing. This is a real interesting one. So it's a mythic rare. And if you ever asked yourself, hey, I wonder if Time Twister would still be good if whenever I played it, I had to exile it and end my turn. Well, your question's about to be answered. That's what this is. It's Time Twister. The only difference is when you play it, your turn ends and you exile it. This is very interesting to me. So, where is this card going to be good? I think tempo decks can take advantage of this card. When you look at a deck that maybe has a lot of bounce and you're bouncing your opponent's threats back to their hand, you have some counter spells that you can hold on to, and then you play something like this and you boom, you restock your hand and just kind of keep getting in with maybe whatever creatures you have on the board that we're getting in. This could be really good in a deck like that. This might be a good controlled slash tempo deck card. As far as limited goes, it could be good in limited. If you're ever behind, this is a card that could help you catch up. Now, if you're ahead, you probably don't want to play this card because it's too risky. But in limited, if you're behind, it might help you catch up. And again, if you have some control elements to your deck, this might not be a horrible card to play. If you can maybe counter what your opponent's going to try to do next turn or something like that, could be good. Standard, I don't know. It's hard to say. This is really hard to evaluate in constructed. I think it's going to be an awesome commander card and even a very good casual card, but I don't know about standard. There'd have to be a deck that's very tempo focused that is going to feel comfortable taking the risk on a card like this. And once you get to modern, maybe it could help you find some combo pieces, but it's even more risky as you're playing in a format with more powerful cards that your opponent could kind of hit you in the backlash. So this is good. This is a tough one to evaluate. This is one of the hardest cards I've probably ever looked at and had to think, is this going to be good? I think it is. I think it just needs to find its niche and its home. And I think that's going to be a tempo-based strategy. But time will tell. So this is a really cool card. I'm excited to try it out myself. Next is Dark Petition. So Wizards is always kind of dancing around making a card that's sort of kind of like Demonic Tutor. Well, here's the latest. And it's basically a Demonic Tutor for 5. But if you have a Spell Mastery, you get 3 black mana back in your mana pool after you cast it. So then it's kind of like Demonic Tutor. You only paid 2 for it, but of course you needed 5 to make it happen. And the 3 you get back is 3 black mana, and maybe you have a use for it, maybe you don't. So obviously is nowhere near as strong as Demonic Tutor. Having said that, it's still awesome. If you can Demonic Tutor for 5, you know what? Go ahead and Demonic Tutor for 5. It's still going to be great. And in Limited, this can help you find your threats. Good enough to probably see some standard play as well, quite honestly. If there's a deck out there that needs something like this, it's very strong. Tainted Remedy. So here's another enchantment to kind of go with that enchantment matters theme. And this one is also a life hoser, so it could be a good sideboard card. I haven't seen a lot of big gain life cards coming out of the limited format yet anyway, but maybe some more will be revealed. But maybe this will be a sideboard card against something like Soul Sisters in Modern. I don't know. It's very interesting. Doesn't cost too much to cast, only 3, so it could be a decent sideboard utility card. Flame Shadow Conjuring. Now, this one's a little more expensive. Another enchantment to go with your Enchantment Matters theme. This one, I don't know what this one's catering to, though. It costs 4, and it really wants to be in an aggro deck, but at the same time, an aggro deck really can't take a turn off to play this. And the last thing you want is to have an aggro deck with cards like this or filling up your hand, because you just need threats. Basically, aggro deck, you need little creatures, you need some cheap burn, and you need some ways to draw cards. And this doesn't really do any of that for you. Now, having said that, would I play this in limited? This could be a good limited card in a lot of limited decks because it's just going to give you another creature to attack in with, hopefully every turn or every second, third turn at worst. That's pretty cool, and that could be a very powerful thing to contend with in limited. So I'm anxious to see it work in limited. Don't know if it's going to see anything beyond that. Next is Honored Hierarch, and this is a little bit of a play off of Noble Hierarch. About a week ago or so, we saw a 2-mana Mana Dork spoiled, and we kind of said, hey, yeah, that's okay, but where's our 1-mana Mana Dork? Well, here he is, kind of. He's 1 mana, and he's a 1/1, but to get him to tap for mana and to get Vigilance, he needs to be renowned. So you basically have to play this guy turn 1, hope your opponent doesn't play something, and then get in there on turn 2, and now you have a 2/2 with Vigilance that can also tap for mana of any color. Well, he's great when he's got Renown, but getting Renown on him is not going to be super easy, and it's going to be a little conditional. I don't know. I really don't see him fitting into constructed because of that. It's just too hard to make this happen the way you want it to happen. But limited, I'd take a risk on him in limited. Sometimes he's just going to be a 1/1, and that's not great. He might be a chump blocker or maybe you can sack him for an effect or something. But when he does work, it's going to feel real good. And he's going to be great ramp. He's going to be color fixing, and 2/2 with vigilance early in the game is pretty strong as well. So I like this guy in limited. I'd play him. He's not always going to be great for you, but when he's good, he's going to be real good. And our next card is spoiled from a Japanese language card, and it's Nisa's Pilgrimage. It costs 3, it's a sorcery, and you get to search your library for 2 basic forests. So it's only forests, but it's a core set. I guess that can be expected. You reveal them, you put one in your hand and the other one tapped on the battlefield. Now, if you have Spell Mastery, you get to take 3 forests, put one in the battlefield tapped, and the other 2 to your hand. Kind of an interesting take on this type of cultivate-ish type of card. It's decent ramp. You pay 3 and you get a land immediately, so I do like that. Now at the point you have Spell Mastery, I don't know if it really matters all that much that you are pulling 3 lands out of your deck, but it does help thin your deck a little bit, maybe give you a real small percentage chance of pulling a threat instead of pulling a land later in the game. So it's definitely good ramp. It's a good green card. You're going to use it in any deck where you want to get some additional mana, and that goes for limited. I don't really see it happening in standard unless there's a real strong ramp deck coming out that is focused on green, and right now we're kind of living in a multicolor world, so it's probably not going to be great in constructed right now. And our last card of the day is Bounding Krasis. So pretty cool card. It's got a nice Ravnica feel to it. Obviously, it's just going to be a limited card. This guy's a 3/3 for 3, good limited creature, and he has flash. That's awesome, and he can twiddle a creature when he comes into play. On top of that, he's a fish lizard, which is pretty cool flavor. You don't see that every day. But the thing that's most interesting about this card is this is the first time now we're seeing one of these gold cards with enemy colors. Now we have a green-blue. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll see a cycle of all 10. Maybe it will. I think that would be really cool. I hope we do see a cycle of all 10. But it could be just a mixed cycle of enemy and allied colors. It's possible. Hopefully we'll see all 10. I think that would be a real cool cycle to have at the uncommon slot. So, that is everything for today. Thanks, as always, for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. If you're still looking for quality Magic the Gathering videos, click on one of these annotations. And if you hadn't had a chance yet to subscribe, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the breaking MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, crazy product openings, or gameplay videos on Heroes and Legends MTG. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.